Right now, I welcome you into this present moment to realize and accept these words that right now, you're exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to be doing, and being who it is that you are meant to be. Even if it doesn't seem like it, even if you have these big grand scheme goals of who you want to be, what kind of success you want to see, even if you're not quite there, right now is still such a beautiful moment to realize that you're on your way and that this is a stepping stone towards who you want to be and where you want to go. And so accepting that right now is going to be so pivotal in continuing forward. I'm Matilda, welcome to my art studio and YouTube channel. I've got a painting behind me that's almost done. I'm working on painting snowflakes, and I'm so happy that there's little tiny snowflakes falling outside right now. In my last video, I talked about showing up as your true self and living up to your full potential. And I also said that I was carving out some more time to be able to show up to YouTube more often. And then I said, see you next week. And now it's been about a month. And while I did try to record some videos, it just didn't work out for various reasons. And I have been putting a lot of my free time into creating some art lessons in my community, which I'm super excited about. This is a great example of accepting where you are. I could easily beat myself up about not showing up to make videos every single week, and it's the new year and I'm supposed to be doing this and supposed to be doing that. But to me, I'm not worried about it at all because I want to show up in my highest vibes and feeling my best, knowing that I am speaking some words to you that I feel like I'm channeling in a sense. However, the acceptance of self and the acceptance of where you're at that I want to chat with you about today is more on the emotional level. Of course, we want to accept ourselves wherever we are, physically, spiritually, financially, relationally. In all those areas, it really comes down to our emotions. Something I've been learning lately when it comes to this achievement that we're striving towards is it's not so much about seeing the changes. I was always looking for behavioral changes in myself, but rather it's actually about that emotional level of change, and that when we can feel the way that we are desiring to feel, that is when we start to see the changes, but also that is really our point of success. When we desire to feel peace and we're expecting our behaviors to make us feel peace, then we're really skipping over the part that's important, and this emotional level is really where we need to put a lot of our focus. If I can achieve a level of feeling financially secure without this idea of riches, wealth, and money, even feeling wealthy in areas that don't have anything to do with money, these feelings will then translate over into wealthy actions and behavioral change that causes me to move towards these riches or whatever it is that any of us are currently desiring. So let's dive into today's beautiful conversation about accepting where you are right now, and more specifically accepting who you are right now in this moment. And part of accepting who we are, where we are, is that it does bring us into the present moment. And a lot of times when we hear about worries and anxieties, of course, it's where we're worrying about the past or worrying about the future. And when we're worrying about who we need to be or should be or what we want to be doing, then it is placing our focus on the future. And we're not honoring ourselves for where we are now. And that honoring and that being honest with ourselves and really looking at where we are now is going to be the stepping stone to move towards the future. If you don't even know where you are now, how do you know how to get to where you want to go? The beauty of this is that we are honest with ourselves where we are, and we're not forcing ourselves to be something that we're not. The way that this has shown up in my life is that I am fighting sometimes against what I'm feeling, or fighting against the present reality of who I am, and forcing myself to be something that I can't even be. Because when we feel an emotion that's holding us apart from the emotion that we want to feel, like say we're feeling sad and we want to feel happy, when we are forcing ourselves to feel happy when really we're feeling sad, then for one, you're not going to be able to get there. And for 2, you're taking your focus off of this very important emotion that's begging for your attention. And the longer that you take your focus off of this emotion, the more that emotion is going to grow and try to get your attention, almost like it has a personality of its own. And it's like, hey, hello, I'm not happy. Why are you forcing me to be happy? Like, I'm sad. Let's look at this situation. Let's figure out what it is that's causing this. Then let's move forward. So really the biggest power that this brings into your life is being able to sit with how you're feeling in order to process it, give it the time and space that it needs to be processed, so that then it can be released, let go of, and you can move forward. There was a time in my life where I was just absolutely fighting against how I was feeling, which is what I was saying. It was a place of being in utter self-hatred. So I was moving from this place of utter self-hatred into love of self. And to do that, I really had to learn how not to repress those emotions and that pain and that sadness, but to face the pain, to face the fear, and then to sit with it, as painful as it may be. Let it come out of my body in tears. Let me look like a complete mess and cry and snot bubbles and all the things, you know. And then, after coming through that, then we can move into what we want to see in our life. The beautiful part of accepting where you are is that it takes the pressure off. You don't have to feel happy if you're feeling sad. You don't have to feel enthusiastic if you're feeling tired. You don't have to feel amazing and empowered if you're feeling low self-esteem. Like, look at yourself in the present reality. Come into the moment. Give yourself that awareness. Honor yourself in that way. Honor the way that you're feeling, because if you are forcing yourself to be and feel something that you don't feel, then that is very dishonoring of yourself. And that is a really huge piece of fertilizer for self-hatred. If you want to love yourself, then start with honoring yourself with where you're at. And maybe that's just where you are at this time of year. A lot of us coming into the new year, we always expect that it's going to be the most amazing time and we're going to be all different and everything's changed and all the bad habits are in the background. But you know what? The new year is just another date in time. It's just a time to get a new planner, and it's really not anything special. It's just another day that we're alive. We just woke up today just like we woke up every other day. And we can't expect that we're going to have a big jump and leap from one year to the next, from one day to the next. Even though we say it's 1 year to the next, it's really just one day to the next. It's just December 31st to January 1st. And if you're at this point right now where you're feeling like you're not living up to these standards or expectations that you've put on yourself or that other people have put on yourself, then let's take the pressure off. Let's recognize where we are, and let's give ourselves some peace of mind by just simply sitting with whatever it is that we are experiencing in this moment or this week or this month, and being honest. Just let it be. One of the beautiful pieces about accepting where you are is that it lifts off judgment, which I mentioned in my video last time about taking judgment out of the picture entirely. When we're judging who we are and what we should be doing, that is causing a lot of these feelings to be even more intense than they need to be. So simply not judging brings us into that place of acceptance. If you need a little extra boost of why you want to sit with your feelings, then remember that on the other side of it is freedom from these feelings. This feeling of liberation, of relief, of peace in life, just coming back into your body. You've probably heard the saying, what you resist persists. So again, this is about not repressing the emotions, because they're going to come out either now or years in the future, but accepting them and day to day, moment to moment, realizing how we feel, being aware and present in the moment to realize how we feel enough to be able to process it and move forward. Now we come to the question of how do we accept ourselves exactly where we are and who we are right now? The easiest way to accept yourself is not to reject yourself or your circumstance. if we are automatically saying, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I shouldn't be experiencing this stuff in my life, then that is causing the feelings to be even more intense than they need to be, for one. And for two, if you think of the opposite and we just say, hey, maybe this doesn't feel that great, but this is where I'm at right now. And maybe this doesn't really feel like the thing that I want to be happening to me right now, but this is what's happening to me right now. And you'd be surprised by just saying, it's okay, how much relief you can feel in that. Because most of our anxieties and things come from pushing against something that's happening. And even if it's the most ugliest circumstance ever, and I know this is not easy all the time to accept it, but even if you can make one little step towards acceptance of your current circumstance or who you are, and just show yourself a little bit of love. We naturally want to feel good in our skin, to feel good in our moment-to-moment everyday life. And so if we just stop doing the things that are unnatural, like pushing against and repressing, then we'll naturally just do the things that feel good. Ironically, part of feeling better is starting at that feeling bad spot. Some practical things that can help you accept where you are, the how, is simply spending the space and time to sit with how you're feeling, just like we've been talking about. A way to do this is to tune into the silence, if you can find some silence, and to meditate, perhaps. Just quiet your mind, focus on your breathing, allow the thoughts to dissipate. And of course, if you're feeling intense emotions, sometimes that's really the hardest time to meditate. But if you can allow your mind to quiet and just move towards that quiet space. It's not necessarily a meditation where you're completely clearing your mind. It's a meditation where you are clearing judgment from your mind and you're just allowing yourself to be, which that's a huge piece of this acceptance of where you are that goes into the last video I made, is simply not judging yourself. Writing is an incredible tool to be able to accept where you are. Just writing it out on paper. Nobody else has to see it. Nobody else has to hear it. It's just you being honest with you. And a lot of times getting it out on paper kind of gets it out of our brain and we can see it. We can get a bigger perspective of what it looks like. I created a piece of art this summer called Get It Out. And it's kind of a creepy picture. I'll put a picture on the video. But don't look at it if you're creeped out easily. Anyways, it's about allowing that negative, dirty stuff just to get out. And this girl is being a bit forceful with it, which is not what we want to do. I put this image on a notebook, which I will put the link in the description, so that you can use this image to inspire you to write out and get out these feelings of darkness. Simply not forcing yourself or expecting yourself to feel differently than the way that you feel. Just letting yourself feel it. Well, thank you so much for listening. Please consider sharing this video with a friend to send some encouragement their way. Also, if you want to see any of my artwork, it's all on my website and there's a link to that in the description as well. All right, until next time, bye.